Hey everyone, it is Caslo, and we are back with some more highlights, this time from patch 6.1, which just released last week. At the end of Endwalker, we saved the universe and returned back to Atheris, and everybody's seeming to go their own ways, picking up on kind of some stuff they've wanted to do for a while, which means that I guess we're back to adventuring. But we're going to start off with a little visit to Tataru and see where it takes us.
What about you? Any plans for the immediate future?
A grand new adventure, of course.
Traveling to the edge of existence and back wasn't enough? Well, if that's the case, I might have a suggestion for you. But I believe I have the perfect destination in mind. Thavnair. That's where you should go next. I doubt you were able to squeeze in a proper tour of Radzat the last time you were there. What with the burning skies and rampaging monsters and so forth. And I'm sure Ritra would be pleased to see you. Then there's the bounty itself. The Empire's presence in the region was always a deterrent to exploration. So if you've a mind to sail that sea, now's your chance. Just think of all the new experiences you could have.
Tell me, have you been to the ruins beneath the waters of the Bounty? As the bearer of Azem's crystal, you may consider your duty to see at least that much.
Oh, I know that look. That's an adventurer ready to take on the world. In anticipation of an occasion like this, I was planning to gift you a new set of traveling clothes, but it's still a work in progress. Shouldn't take much longer now though, so sit tight and I'll have the last few bits sewn up before you can finish another cup of tea.
I feel like this one's more for the girls to make sure it has pockets. You're the best, Tataru, and obviously this is how we're getting that outfit from the poster.
Stitch in here and trim in there. Knot the threads with love and care. Just a little more to go. I'm sure you're still brimming with excitement. I am one with the needle. See how the fabric surrenders to my whims. Don't worry. I'll make sure the lining has plenty of pockets for all your little treasures. I swear adventurers are worse than children when it comes to hoarding every feather and leaf and animal hide they come across.
You gonna give us some more inventory space? Is that what you're gonna do, Tataru?
Oh, we mustn't forget the waterproofing. Gods forbid you forget to disrobe before plunging into the sea, or a river, or a piping hot bath.
Okay, we're not wasting time, I guess? Why does that feel like Xenos?
And thus I am returned.
Swear to God if that's fucking Xenos. Just shot the thing back. That's very kind of you, sir. But I know when I'm being softened up. What is it that you want from me? Oh, chasing down that old tale, are you? It does seem to appeal to the adventurous at heart. Now, where to begin? Might I assume you've heard of Al-Zadal, who is a Khan of the RA tribe which sailed to Thavnir from the mainland, and a key figure in the history of Razat-Han. His decision to aid the Arkasodra is what ultimately won them the war against the Gahasura, thus allowing our predecessors to lay the foundation for this thriving city-state. The truly fascinating stories, however, concern his grandson, Al-Zadal III, who was known for his deeds as satrap in Razat-Han's earlier days. Some attest that this man traveled to another world entirely and returned with glittering riches. Others that he brokered an alliance with a certain Wyrm of the First Bird. Then there is the tale of the sunken vault, the one you seem most curious about. According to this legend, Al-Zadal III claimed a small island somewhere in the middle of the bounty. There he built a structure reaching clear to the bottom of the sea, a deep and secret storehouse, and locked all his worldly wealth within. In the centuries since, whenever a natural disaster or hardship befell Razat-Han, folk would remember that tale of treasure hidden. Hardy souls would set out to claim their fortune, but precious few ever made it home. You seem a generous sort. What kind of man would I be to encourage what is clearly a foolhardy quest? If my words sent you to your death, I could never live with myself. No stranger to peril. Is that so? Perhaps it's your turn to tell a tale, then. What manner of dangers have you faced? The very edge of existence. From anyone else, I'd struggle to believe it. But I recognize you now. You're the hero of the final days. Drink. I need another drink to settle my nerves. Mahil, more of the same if you please. As you wish, but this one's on your coin, Professor. Anyway, you being who you are, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to share a little more. This friend of Ozma's, he was desperate to buy a treasure map, one which showed the way to the entrance of the vault. Seems you can only get it from some merchant. What's his name? I forget. Let's drink a toast to you, my new best friend. Mahil, more drinkish. Signal for water instead.
Please, Ashal, please! You must let me have that treasure map!
What's all this about?
My mother and father were slaughtered by monsters. My baby sister, still too young to fend for herself. Can you spare us no kindness?
That voice doesn't really fit.
This is no mere treasure map. It is a guide to the vaults of Arzadal III, one of the great satraps of Radzat Han, and a direct descendant of Alzadal Khan.
A map to Alzadal's legacy.
So he says. A fake, I'd wager.
This is no fake. The parchment is marked with an arcane glyph of passage. You may find the ruins hidden in the bounty, but you won't be setting foot inside without this in your possession. A priceless artifact it is, discovered amongst the rubble in the aftermath of the final days, and lovingly restored by yours truly. This map is the key to fabulous riches, and I'll be the king of fools to simply give it away. Be glad I am no such king boy. Your scrawny-eyed had never returned with that treasure alive. Oh, cruel fate! Why must you tempt me with wealth I am powerless to claim? How I shall envy the one who purchases that precious map! Whatever they pay will be but bitten seconds the golden hoards they stand to uncover.
They're playing a ruse on everybody. And it's gonna work on the Stydian.
What of you, sir? Fighting man of your stature would surely relish the challenge of recovering Alzadal's lost fortune.
A fortune, you say?
If I had but the strength to seize that treasure, my starving sister would never want for food.
I'll take it. Will this cover the price? Well met, my friend. Someone is dressed for adventure. But why Favner of all places? Knowing you, I suspect there's more to your plans than sightseeing and shopping. Ruins beneath the bounty. Curious. And here I've acquired a map to just such a site.
With that sale, I do believe I've earned the rest of the day off. Thank you for your patronage, sir, but if you'll excuse me.
You needn't mind us.
And now I've fleeced one of the heroes of the final days. Pray the sisters were looking elsewhere.
At least he instantly regrets
This
it.
map may or may not be genuine. Either way, we'll need a ship to find out for sure.
Seem eager to be underway.
Lest you misunderstand, I seek the treasure not for myself. If such a fortune truly exists, then it could help ease the struggles of those who lost their loved ones in the final days. I hope to do for Thavnir what you and Alphino did for the Alamegans when you recovered the Mad King's trove.
I was thinking of how much this feels like
Come now.
4.1.
You know Alphino needs little encouragement when it comes to recounting the tales of your shared exploits. Speaking of precocious lads, that boy in the bazaar was clearly an accomplice of the merchant. Suppose his role was to draw the attention of the crowd and add weight to the merchant's bold claims. Transparent act for the most part. It was not all mummery. The need to provide for his sister rang true enough. Thus, if some portion of the profits end up in that waif's pockets, then I will consider it money well spent, whether the map leads us to the vault or not. You are coming along, yes?
Naturally.
I thought as much. Now, let's see about securing a vessel.
So you need a seaworthy vessel to seek these ruins. Considering it was your deeds which allowed us to return to fishing, I should think everyone would be glad if I had a chance to repay the favor. Wait here, I will have a boat stocked and ready for you in no time at all. Doggos, please. And this kid is still tailing us? Have you noticed our little shadow? He's been following us since we left the city. We see you there, boy. Show yourself. Sorry, sir. But aren't you the heroes who saved Thavnir? You are. I know you are. I've gone and cheated you. I work with Zashal, you see, the map merchant. It's my job to pay the pleading orphan. And convince the crowd his wares are worth the price he asks. I'm ashamed of what I've done. I beg for your forgiveness. If not for you, my sister and I would never... We'd be... The map you bought is very real, as is the island it shows. I overheard Joshua selling the information to another customer. He told that man where he needed to search, about the ruins, about the vault, about everything. Then the man sailed out to find his fortune, never to return. You cannot go alone to that place. You should have more friends with you, maybe even a whole army. I do not doubt the ruins hold danger, but I assure you, between the two of us, there's little we cannot overcome. Please, I cannot bear the thought of... Very well. Assuming we do find this treasure hoard, it may prove wise to have more hands along for the carrying. Any ideas of whom to approach? Signs have scattered far and wide since our last gathering. Graha, Tia, and Kryl. Kryl might have her hands full rebuilding the students, but if you reach out to Graha, he would surely leap at the invitation. Will that set your mind at ease? Yes. If that man is as strong as you... Is he, though? Strong, I mean? What's your name, boy? Mayrad, sir. Well, Mayrad. Your life is yours to live as you will. But I suggest you find a more honest trade if you truly wish to keep your sister safe. I'm not proud of what I do, but what choice do I have? We need to eat, and everybody's too busy rebuilding their own lives to bother with two grubbly orphans.
Ah, Ojika, my good man. Would you be so kind as to...
Oh, isn't this a pleasant surprise?
I wish you had sent word ahead. I thought I was having visions for a moment there. But what brings you to the Annex, my friend? Surely you haven't come all this way just to watch us shuffle dusty papers around? The treasure vault of Alzadal III.
And you're looking for companions to join you on this expedition? I would dearly love to accompany you, of course, but I'm afraid I'm committed to another task. On the subject of which, I had hoped to ask for your assistance. Then again, it's not so urgent that it can't wait until you've returned. You should go, Raha. I'll stay here and mind the shop, as it were.
Are you sure? I'd hate to leave you short-handed.
I'm sure. Just try to be back before too many moons have passed.
Well, I guess we're off on another adventure already. Have you asked anyone else to come along? Then might I suggest we invite your Stola? Ever since the Scions disbanded, she's spent most of her time cloistered within the Great Gooble Library, hoping to piece together a method to traverse the rift. It would seem, however, that whatever wisdom she sought there was not to be found. She arrived in Charlian the other day. We spoke briefly before she began her search of Numenor. Considering what you've told us of Alzadal's extraordinary feats, I do believe your Stola would be more than interested to hear what you have to say.
You did mention traversing to other worlds. We're part of the rumors.
Splendid! Then let us head to the archives at once.
Wait, before you go. I have another potential member to volunteer, if you've room to spare. Urianger. He sent the students a request for materials, you see. Treatises on the architecture of treasure vaults and the like. From what I can gather, the Loporrits are looking to make improvements to their own creation, and wish to learn more about how we build things down here. So, why not take Urianger with you? Let him study Alzadal's legacy firsthand.
None can deny the benefit of seeing something with your own eyes. If our expedition leader has no objections, I say we extend Urianger an invitation once we've spoken with your Stola.
Pudding, I used to... No. Guess my pudding wasn't needed to stop the final days after all. But I persevere. Once people taste it, they'll be even happier than they were before the apocalypse started. I just know it.
I've never known your Stola to doze off in the middle of research before.
close my eyes for one moment.
That needle drop.
Ow! Ugh. How long have you two been here?
Catching up on some light reading.
Something to that effect. I must have been studying for 2-3 days straight before exhaustion finally claimed me. As you know, I've been researching ways to travel from the source to one of its reflections. Well, looking for hints at least. I don't expect to find a simple set of instructions tucked away in some dark corner of the library. So I've been skimming through the stacks, hoping to uncover even a partial mention of any similar feats in the past. A means to travel between worlds exists, and you can be sure I will find a way to employ it. So I promised Runar, but 'twould seem I've set myself a nigh impossible task.
You needn't be so hard on yourself. The leap I made with the Crystal Tower was not achieved in an afternoon. It was the culmination of a collective effort spanning generations.
Oh, you think me discouraged? I assure you, 'tis quite the opposite. A daunting challenge and the time to sink my teeth into it. I feel like a fresh-faced student again.
A scholar in her element.
Indeed. Was there something else you wish to ask of me? Alzadal is no minor figure in Harnish history, and much is known about his family. But this is the first I've heard of a descendant surviving a trip to another world. If those tales are true, then he may have left behind some clue as to how it was accomplished. An invitation to delve into one of the world's lingering mysteries. As if I could refuse. And whence do we embark upon this expedition?
Akyali, by ship. But before that, we thought to extend an invitation to Urianger as well. He was in Thalmazane, last we heard.
Then by all means, let us recruit him, and be on our way.
I wonder why the focus on the mammoth there. Oh, we can't fly inside here. Okay. I did not know that.
True to our plan, Thancred and I embarked upon a pilgrimage of sorts, with an eye for gauging the state of those lands through which we passed. Our travels were interrupted, however, by a request for aid from our befurred lunar allies. As you may recall, the Loperids had been seeking new purpose for the moon, another role through which it might serve to benefit mankind. The Forum hath been working to advise them in this endeavor, but I return to offer mine own counsel.
And this has what to do with treasure vaults, exactly?
Ah, you have learned of my predicament from Mistress Cryle. I know not whence they acquired such knowledge, but the Loperates now stand convinced that adventurers delight in treasure hunts. Thus, with their newly built wonderland of riches and mystery, do they hope to entice all manner of daring delvers to the moon. So earnest and innocent was their desire to bring joy to the world that I found myself powerless to refuse them my cooperation. But what of you, my friends? Why are you come to Labyrinthos? Fascinating. This is indeed a most fortuitous opportunity. I should be honored to accept thine invitation.
What, no time to spare a word for the grizzled old bard? So, for what reason have so many esteemed personages seemed fit to gather? Beneath the waters of the Bounty, you say? I see you've already stolen away my traveling partner with the promise of unexplored ruins and scholarly glory.
Nay, 'tis not for mine own indulgence, but rather the fulfillment of my commitment to the Loperates.
Ah, of course. And if you have Estinian rounding out your group, you'll likely have all the members you need.
Feeling left out? I could put in a good word for you, if you like.
We may have been released from our obligations, but I'll never be free of that merciless wit of yours, will I? In all seriousness, 'tis best I sit this one out. Too many former scions consorting with one another might be seen as a cause for concern in certain quarters. I'll return to my usual reconnaissance and scout out the situation in the Far East. Feel free to share if you come across any interesting revelations. Till we meet again.
Shall we also hasten our departure? Sir Estinian will wonder what hath become of us.
I just realized my character dresses like Graha.
Stop! You mustn't touch it.
Farshan, what are you doing here?
Still, this is not a setting I imagined for our reunion. Surely you've not entered these ruins as common looters.
Would that we could deny your accusations, but I fear you're not far from the truth.
Great Vritra, might we beseech thee to explain the nature of this strange contrivance?
It was crafted by our alchemists at my behest, for the purpose of sealing something away.
I wasn't gonna touch it, but you know, you stole it. Sealing away what exactly?
Perhaps I should simply show you.
Is that a path to the void?
I have lifted the seal, if only for the moment, by an authority only I possess.
A planar fissure.
No, my friend. Small though it may be, this is a functioning gate into the void.
I must admit, I am deathly curious to know how a void gate came to be hidden in the depths of these ruins.
To tell that tale, we must first peer far to the south, and even further into memory.
Mercidia?
An age 5 millennia passed when the Algan Empire sent an invading force to the shores of Mercidia. The southern people rallied around the commanding figures of Bahamut and Tiamat and fought fiercely to repel the would-be conquerors. With Bahamut's defeat, however, the tide turned against them. Desperate to seize any advantage, the Mercidians resorted to summoning primal entities. In response, Emperor Zande forged a covenant with the Cloud of Darkness, sovereign among the all-devouring denizens of the Void. Thus bolstered by icons on one side and Void Scent on the other, the two armies clashed in a battle of unspeakable carnage. So much death, so much loss. I heard Tiamat's roar of defiance and sped toward that war-torn land. Along with my sibling, Ashdaya.
Asdaya, okay. It's not Asdasha. It's Asdaya.
We dragons are not male or female as men are wont to classify, but elder sister is the closest a mortal tongue can come to describing what she meant to me. I was the last of our brood to hatch, and Ashdaya cared for me where my sire could not. Thus I was with her when Tiamat roared. I was with her when she journeyed south, and I was with her when she fought against the Void-sent hordes. Yet no matter how many of their vile fiends we cast down, more rose from the abyss to take their place. Faced with an unwinnable war of attrition, Ashdaya risked her all on a final gamble. She plunged through the Void Gate itself to strike at the root of their strength. I tried to follow in her wake, determined to lend what aid I could. But even as I came upon Alag's glittering tower, I saw the rift close behind her. And Ashdaya has been lost to us ever since. For my part, I spent long years searching for the means to reunite with Ashdaya. Until I could search no more. Until Alag was dust, and the art to open a void gate large enough to accommodate a dragon forever lost.
Yet you have the beginnings of a gate right here, under the control of a harnessed device.
My discovery came before Radzat was founded. Though I scoured the lands for a method to cross the rift, it was beneath the sea that I chanced to find a natural planar fissure. It was, however, far too narrow to admit a worm's bulk. Only after our city rose upon the rock, and I could enlist the aid of our talented alchemists, did matters take a favorable turn. Their dedication was beyond reproach. Tirelessly, they worked to expand the fissure, and after decades of toil, it finally grew to a size that a child might pass through.
Not long ago, you told us that you called out to your kin, that Ashdaya's answer was silence. I suspect the conclusion to your tale is not a joyful one.
With hope in my heart, I used the simulacrum to cross the threshold. But no, I did not find her. What I found was a host of voidsent, clamoring around the opening they had sensed. 'Twas but a moment, but enough. I had no choice but to retreat and allow the portal to contract once more.
The gate was a threat to your people. You had to decide between endangering Razathan and abandoning your sister. And you chose the latter.
'Twas not that thy siblings scorned thy call. 'Twas that she was trapped beyond a barrier through which neither roar nor dragon may pass. Even now, in the desolate world of the 13th.
I can scarce imagine your pain, yet it was wise not to linger in that place. Too long a sojourn, and even a being of your power risks being warped into a creature of the void. You've seen this phenomenon before, when we stepped into the darkness.
I remember when Nero turned purple. I thought our time had come.
As did I. Were it not for Une and Doga, or Nero for that matter, we might never have made it home. Do you remember what happened to Nero? How his wounds allowed the Void's corruption to enter his body and twist his ether? Had it been allowed to progress much longer, I presume he would have been fully transformed.
Then there is little hope for Ashdaya.
Ah, no. I hadn't meant to. I speak only of possibilities. The scales of the First Brood are extraordinarily resistant to ethereal fluctuations. They are the protective talisman's core components after all, and even the corruption I described would struggle to overcome. Of course. With the warding scale in one's possession, one could conceivably survive a stay in the 13th without being warped by its energies.
Be that as it may, it is too late to rescue my sister. 5,000 years too late. And now countless others look to me for guidance and protection. So when I sensed intruders in the ruins, I came only to ensure that the gate remained closed. That, and to secure the treasure, of course. I wish only to forget the rest.
I wonder if Emmett Salk was trying to set us up to rescue Asdaya. I promise we will discuss the Void Gate further. But first, I must attend to the matter of the vault symbols. As your instruments have no doubt informed you, the Capiculu has been reduced to so much scrap. Please, bring a new one out of storage. and see that it is conveyed to its post along with some few lesser constructs. Was it tomb robbers? Fiends born of the Tower of Zot? By the sisters, do not tell me a blasphemy yet roams free. It was me. I did it. Nobody wants to speak up. Why such guilty faces? Surely it isn't you who are responsible for this. Oh. And well, the details aren't important. I shall see it done immediately. After much experimentation, they accomplished the impossible. A method was conceived by which magics could manipulate the fissure and transform it into a serviceable gate. But the process has long since been forgotten. Once I had given up searching for Azaya, there was no need to preserve such esoteric and dangerous knowledge. Thus has the gate lain dormant for years uncounted. I had meant to ask, what prompted you to search for the vault in the first place? The fabulous wealth from the stories is quite real, if not its rumored origin, but I'm afraid I must assert a prior claim. I've been adding to that trove for years, little by little, but the time has come to spend it, that I might alleviate my people's suffering. Then we are of one mind. We had no intention of taking it for ourselves. Your Excellency, would you object if I were to conduct a closer examination of the gate? I will make no attempt to open it, of course. I owe you and yours a debt that can never be repaid. Whatever boon you ask of me, you shall have it. You are most gracious. I shall take full advantage of your permission. Meanwhile, elsewhere. It's a big throne. Probably in the 13th. Different elements. Since the breaching of a gate was not instigated from this side, it was thrown from the other. I too felt it, a rare occurrence, yes. But such a tiny portal is beneath our notice. There are more pressing matters at hand. Wait a second. Throne of Earth, Throne of Fire, Water and Wind. This music... This is the Four Fiends. Which means that that is... Oh god, I just lost the name. Cecil's brother. Let's see this. Golbez. Golbez. And his armor looked like that too. Yeah, that is totally Golbez's armor. I can't believe they're doing it. That's freaking awesome. I too felt it. A rare occurrence, yes. Such a tiny portal is beneath our notice. There are more pressing matters at hand. Opportunity is upon us, the coming of which we have awaited for nigh on 10,000 years. We dare not let it slip from our grasp. Yet we must not underestimate he who bested the cloud of darkness. Even restrained by a covenant, the cloud was no feeble wisp to be dispersed by some flesh and blood mortal. Bah, let him come. I'll drown the world and watch this fleshling grasp for breath in his final moments. Your zeal is admirable. Forget not our cause. Think back on our struggles beneath this sunless sky. Remember why we see not our will to fight. Tis time we set the war in motion and win redemption for our star. I love it. Yes. Just yes. Four Fiends and Golbez too? Oh. It seems like what we're gonna get for the Trial series are the Four Fiends and Golbez, who are trying to take back the 13th. So now we've got that along with what's going on with Unikal High on the first, as well as Cilia. We're probably gearing up for either Mysidia or the 13th for our next expansion. Well, there you have it. Golbez, of all things. I expected the Four Fiends, but I did not expect Golbez. That's definitely a big surprise from Square Enix. And I can't wait to see where it goes in the coming patches. We've still got a little bit for 6.1, so we will be back next week with that video. So be sure to click subscribe so you can see it as soon as it goes out. There's also links in the description below to my Twitch channel where you can give me a follow and know anytime I go live, which may be a lot of PvP at this point, as well as links to my social media and a link to my Discord channel if you want to be part of that daily community. With that said, we will see you all next time. Take care.